What is the difference between perfection and quality? I think there's a confusion between the two. Most of us go through life looking for perfection, and we end up disappointed because in life there's no such thing as perfection. Life is flawed. And in fact, the flaws are what created us human beings, because imperfections in our DNA enable us to start from when we were not human to now when we're human. And we will keep evolving because we will mutate. In this story, we'll look at perfection and quality in our roof repair game. Nowadays, the lies that are propagated by social media like Instagram are hard to resist. We have lots of roofers who post on Instagram their perfect roof that they have just finished or worked on. They are mostly false representations, because amongst all these pictures that were taken on this roof, this happened to be the best looking one, and it only focused on the good section of the roof and not on the other sections, which are a little bit imperfect. Perfection is very subjective, and it's really an illusion, whereas quality is a bit more scientific, because it's based on a series of rules or criteria that make a judgment as to whether the item is fit for purpose. Now, have you ever been to a seconds appliance store and looked at all the appliances on offer? They could be 40% below the mark price of a similar item that is perfect in another shop. So why the markdown in the price? If you look carefully, you can certainly find little imperfections on those appliances, and they're usually just blemishes on what you can see. It's what you can't see that is more critical than what you can see, because what you can't see is what is going to work or not work. And have you ever bought a particular second appliance, and to this day it's still working properly? So from a quality point of view, it's scored 100%. It's working, yet you bought it in the seconds store. It's imperfect. Now, there was this property that we cared for a few years ago, a very old property, and this owner was a professional, and this was part of his practice. Now, the roof is so old that it needed replacement, but he wanted to keep it going until he was ready for it. But there were leaks happening all over the place. And because of personal circumstances, which I may talk about in another story, I gave this my personal attention, and I went and did all the little repair work that stopped the leaks for a short while, but leaks kept happening. I kept going back, doing little repairs. Late one evening, I got a call. "My property is flooded," the owner said. "Can you please come and have a look?" So late in the evening, went there, crawled into the attic space, and found out that the hail that had just happened was blocking the flow of the box gutter. And that then caused the water to back up and cause that massive flood in the property. "I'm really desperate," he said. "How can we stop this from happening?" "Well, you've got to spend some money," I said. "We got to take this old box gutter out, which is not functioning that well, and besides it's rusty, and put a new box gutter in that will cope with a future hail event." "Can you do this straight away," he said, "and just send me the bill?" I should have known it then. This particular owner had delusions of his own. He quite fancied himself an expert in the roof repair game. Now, this was outside his own profession. He had been up on the roof with me and learned a few lessons, and now he fancied himself an expert. So when our guys were in there replacing this box gutter, he hopped up on the roof and obviously had a lot of questions and a lot of suggestions to make. Now, I've always told my guys, Just do exactly what the repair statement says we are there to do. Everything else would be extra work if the owner has requested it. And most professionals would have pushback when someone else who thinks they know everything is actually telling them who are doing the work that they are doing it all wrong and they should be doing it some other way. So our guys weren't very happy with the owner being on the roof trying to tell them what to do. So what did they do? They did exactly what was on the work statement. So job was finished, cleaned up, and that was when the argument started. Why was the box cutter designed that way? He said. And why was it done in two pieces and not in one whole piece? And what about those rusted roof sheets that you took off to get the box cutter in? Surely you could have replaced them with new roof sheets. And why was the outlet from the box cutter designed this way and not that way? And now it was my turn to answer all those questions, not my guys. So guess what my response was? I said, we've done the roof repair work to our set of quality standards, to our specifications, and we guarantee that it's not going to leak for a minimum of 7 years. That is our job. Your job is to pay us for the work that we've done. Well, the owner obviously had an image of what perfection was, and he expected his version of perfection on this really old roof that we're working on. Now, we had a problem here. He wanted his version of perfection, and we were totally focused on our quality requirements. And that's the question, how will our work perform now and in the future? And I could see that there was no way that I was going to win any argument against him in regards to perfection versus quality. So I just told the owner, well, we've done our job and we've got our professional guarantee on the job. Why don't you not pay us until the next big storms, and then you can prove to yourself that our work is performing. You'll get no more leaks. Well, I just don't like the dogmatic way and your dogmatic attitude to how you've done this job, he said to me. Now, I was pretty naive and generous in those days, I think. And I came up with this retort. I said, okay, if you don't like what we've done for you, then just simply don't pay us. Anyway, his response was, I always pay my bills. Now, guess what? That was over 6 years ago. And we've had many storms and hail and all that since. Not one single word from the owner. Obviously, it hasn't leaked because otherwise he would have come back to me and said, listen, mate, your work is not functioning. Quality is bad. But not a single word, no payment. And you may ask, why haven't I chased him for money? Well, I really can't, because I did give him the option of not paying me. Because I did say, if you don't like what we've done for you, just don't pay us. And the fact that he said, I always pay my bills, is not a reflection of what we did, it's more a reflection on the owner. So is there a lesson in this story? And we're talking about perfection versus quality. Well, it's taught me one thing. And nowadays, what I stress to all my clients is that we will give you a product that satisfies our quality requirements. It's going to be something that performs and functions, and we're not obligated to give you something that you think is perfection. If you're looking for perfection, then I'm sorry, we cannot give you perfection, but we will give you quality work. And the measure of quality is our own measure of quality, because we have to have skin in the game, and our criteria for quality is to make sure that we stay in the game. And I guess in conclusion, we no longer work to perfection that is demanded by anyone else who's got no skin in the game, because it's our skin on the game and we produce quality work, not the perfection in someone else's imagination. There is no such thing as perfection. And as an epilogue to all this, when I got married, I did not find the perfect wife, but I did marry a quality wife. Well, that's the end of this story, and as before, I don't know what we'll be talking about next time, but it's going to be fun.